rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
For the Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Welcome to episode, I think it's 11. We have a special guest right out the rip. Well, so welcome to 440 and Goal. Special guest out the rip. Bottom left-hand side, we have the Green Power Ranger with us tonight. That should be pretty exciting. On the top screen today, we got Sam Torres kicking it with us, and I'm not sure why. Real quick, but I'm noticing on the screen I'm getting some caption. I don't know if it's my phone or what, but so I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any caption. What's up, AJ Long?
You see that on Facebook, guys?
I'm not seeing it on my feed. It must be.
Yeah, what up, AJ?
AJ Long, another one watching
all right.
all of
it must be something
that I
have.
Pump boy in the house.
Yeah. Oh boy! Hey, the Power Rangers pumping for Christ today, baby.
We're waiting on Tom to call the Dragon Zord right now.
Oh, let's see what happens here. This should be interesting.
This would be awesome if we had a production team, because you could totally do that. There's a flute song that he plays when he plays a flute on his dagger, like.
Oh, it's in the back. I got that. I'm not joking. I really do.
I bet you do.
Oh, man.
I don't believe for a second you're joking.
Well, we're going to give Tom a minute here because I want to hear this flute thing that you guys speak of. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. I like it. Yep. Oh, Lord. Good for you, Tom. Good for you, buddy.
It's already going to be a show.
Yep. So, yes, welcome everybody watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're pretty pumped. Today is going to be the day the Cleveland Browns release their official schedule, or their the order, who they play and what week and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So real quick, just so everyone knows what 440 and Goal is about, we're about local sports, local news, and we support Cleveland sports too. I know everyone that's been watching, we've had quite a few consistent followers, such as Pump Boy, AJ, Billman. They've all been watching every week. The Goal in the end, Billman's actually, he's like a special commentator. We do bring him on every so often, but the Goal in the end, we got a lot of big plans for this show. It's not going to be just talking about this once a week, or I'm sorry, 3 times a week. We're going to be going and doing different things, especially with, sounds like the COVID, because we're going to talk into that COVID virus. Hopefully that situation calms down. It sounds like we're on our way there, but I'm sure we all have our own opinion on that little situation. So let's tear right up into it here and get right into the COVID update. Let me show it in the stream. So did those numbers pop up?
Let's see.
There it is. Sorry,
yeah,
it just popped up now.
Yep, they're there.
Okay, so 169 cases, 18 deaths. This is all in Ashtabula County. Not a big jump. We were at 17 deaths, so rest in peace, whoever had that situation. But it's been an interesting one, and especially with everything that's been going on today. Let me bring up Sammy. He's the agenda maker. Let me get my agenda up here so I can make sure I say it right. So bars, restaurants, and retails to open with restrictions. So I do believe they said on the 14th. Excuse me. On the 14th of this month. Tickets. Okay, sorry. Sammy sent me something on Facebook.
Yeah, just
but
the
14th. The 14th of this month. It will be. You're able to eat outside at restaurants.
Yes.
And then on the 21st, it will be basically, it sounds like to me, not full go, but I'm sure the 6 foot rule will be in place still.
Yeah, they're going to have to. So they have to assure that the customers are going to have like a 6 feet barrier in between them, or 6 feet in between them. Otherwise, similar to the factories where a physical barrier will have to separate. So I don't know if that means that these restaurants are expected to go get a bunch of plastic and separate them. But I think the 6 feet basically, which is going to make some restaurants running at, a grand total of about 10 people
Right.
in there. But, this is what I've said to people all along is it's going to be slow. And you can't you can complain, but there's no reason to complain because the alternative to this is we don't open. Mm-hmm. So we're opening slowly and cautiously, and this is the right way to do it. It's minimizing it. I'll say personally myself, I'm not going to any restaurants at this point. I'm going to continue to order out and carry out for my own family safety, for my own sanity. If you feel the need to do that, some people do, go ahead. Follow the restrictions though. And another thing I'm going to say here, and this is not going to be important, but I don't care, or it's not going to be. It is going to be important, but it's not going to be. People aren't going to like it, but I don't care because I say what I want anyway. When you see stuff that is not, you see restaurants or you see businesses that are not following the rules, it's your duty to report them. Because if you enjoy going to your local pub or you enjoy going to your local, tailor or store or little coffee shop, then it's your job to make sure that people aren't breaking the rules, because the more rules that get broken, the more likely we are to another shutdown where you're not going to be able to do it. And these businesses might not survive a second one. So if you truly love a place, you need to make sure people are complying.
100%. So my whole thing with this is it's great that we're opening. It's great that we're starting all of this, but people are still finding a way to complain like, oh, well, it's not truly opening back up because there's going to be restrictions, So the one tenet I adhere to is life is a perception of your own reality. Okay. So the thing is you can't predicate your happiness on if a restaurant is open and you can go and dine in and you can sit with your friends, shoot the breeze and have a beer. That's not what you should predicate your happiness on. You should predicate your happiness on the fact that, we're making progress, and we're making this progress so that everyone can be safe, because I am at my happiest when I know that my fiance, when my son and myself, my mother and my father are safe when we go somewhere from being infected by a disease. Okay. So if you're predicating your happiness on the fact that we aren't open, so you're still going to P&M, piss and moan, sorry, about this, you're just reaching at this point. It's just a reach. People find any reason they can be to be miserable, and this is a perfect storm of that. Okay, like this is for the pessimists and people that like to be angry. I've seen things on Facebook today. Well, how can this even be progress? The fact of the matter is it is, and just find a reason to be happy, because the longer you dwell in your misery,
do you not understand what progress is? Like progress is not going 100 miles an hour right out of the gate and opening 100% full go. Progress is gradually going into this and making sure that we're not making a mistake, because I'll tell you what, Mike DeWine and Public Enemy #1, because people are misguiding their anger, Amy Acton, who is by the way, everybody who's watching, she's a superstar, that woman, to deal with the crap she has to deal with. and be as good at her job as what she is, she's an absolute all-star. Amy Acton is amazing. All right.
Amazing. She's doing great.
So for those two to deal with what they're dealing with, like, I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing across the board.
Anyway, what I was gonna say, I'm sorry.
What they've done with
they both reiterated numerous times. This is a gamble. There's a risk here. This is not proving you're right that the virus is fake and it's not gonna kill anybody. This is them saying, you know what? We are trusting our citizens enough that let's see if this works.
Absolutely.
Right. It's really on us as a population to either curve this and or not. Just because we're given an inch, let's not take a mile.
Yep.
Let's take it inch by inch, foot by foot, and get us there. I mean, no one wants to be stuck at home. Let's just be realistic. I mean, next week, I don't know how, but this weekend we're supposed to get snow. We have lake effect snow warning on Saturday. I don't know how.
Because this is
but
Ashta Beulah.
Right. But the following week is when we finally get into the warm season where we're starting to get into the 68, 70, 75 degrees. And, I can finally take the top down on my Jeep and let it ride, but let's not take, all this for granted. We need to still be proactive and make things, better. Sammy was debating on starting the show today with a mask on. Just to prove a point, I think, but that's Sammy, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wanted to be protected by wearing my Green Ranger mask. I felt the need to be protected.
Listen,
okay.
I don't know how much more
everybody
protection you can get with
I want
that.
you to see how hard this is. Watch.
That's it.
Sammy, that
Looks
took
like you got
7
a diaper on your
seconds
face.
for me. That's
It's
doing
weird.
for
You know
7
what's
seconds.
weird is I just infringed on my own rights. Would you believe that?
You adhered to slavery just then.
This is ridiculous.
So I mean,
God.
but to a point, I can. So I guess I'm going to play the middleman in this situation. Sammy's going to hate me for because I can understand the reluctance of not wanting to wear a mask, but I also understand why the necessity of wearing a mask. What that is. So one show I did watch today. I'm going to briefly bring it up. Sammy, I know, doesn't want to talk about it because he absolutely hates it.
It's
Just
the worst.
Real quick, is that Plandemic? Was it a YouTube series or YouTube episode? I don't know, whatever it is. One thing I got out of it, so I don't know, I won't be, I'm not going to ruin it for everybody, but all they talked about was the people that they feel have done wrong. They haven't really talked about the fact that no matter what, whether you think the government brought it in or whether you think it was natural causes, they didn't talk about going forward and how we need to move together and unite as a country to make this situation the best situation. Because no matter what, we have COVID-19 in the United States. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, let me talk on that too, Ryan, because I think you're absolutely hitting on a huge point there. When you are battling something, okay, when you're battling any sort of war, you don't piss and moan about why the war is going on or why the battle is going on. You take care of the battle. And when you win the battle, then you can look back and you can figure out why it's there and how to never happen again. I don't believe that the government released this. I don't believe that this is some Illuminati, crazy conspiracy, signs, tinfoil hat wearing thing or whatever. Even if that is the case, we have to win this battle now. And when COVID is all taken care of and we have moved past this, then we can look into it. But right now, all you're doing by spreading misinformation is hindering the progress. I promise you, you're hindering the progress by spreading misinformation. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? Since everybody wants to protest, I'm going to go protest that they're opening stuff. How about that?
Just don't do it at Dublin down, man. Don't do it at Dublin.
No.
If we're talking about videos real quick here, I wanted to bring something up. Someone tagged me in a video today of a very serious and very troubling video about a father who lost his son due to suicide, and his father had the audacity to scapegoat COVID-19 as the reason that his son ultimately ended his life. the thing is, I am someone who struggles with stuff like that. I'm just going to put it out there. But as someone who struggles with it, in no way, shape, or form has COVID-19 and the isolation played a part in my emotions or my mental state in that regard. I think that by utilizing that video, while it is sad and I would never take away from that father's loss or anything, by scapegoating COVID-19 as the reason that his son took his life and campaigning for things to open, you are campaigning for all the wrong things. You're taking your son's life and saying, hey, we need to open it for the greater good. But the thing is I would almost feel worse if we opened back up and then something happened on a wider scale. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, am I making
No, you're right.
I just can't agree with that.
No, we live in an era.
This doesn't coincide.
We live in an era right now where it is easier to reach out and touch somebody from your home than ever in the history of man. Mm-hmm. If these are concerns you have about people, do that. Reach out and talk to people. It's right now. I mean, internet is accessible by almost everybody, whether you have the money or not. People were getting it. That we're finding ways. We have pivoted and we found ways. I think that is as reprehensible as the other video I saw where they use the COVID stay home order to scapegoat molesting kids and stuff like that. And I will just say this: you cannot blame a reprehensible action on what's going on. You have to make sure
100%,
because if it's not COVID that caused this, then it's going to be something else. So what you need to do is fix that. So please, like the kids say, miss me with that.
Miss me with that.
Don't at me. Don't at me. Whatever again that means. So yeah, that's our COVID update. We got I think we got one other topic here in a couple minutes that we're going to touch on the show. We got a lot of great topics today. Just a few, just to rip it off real quick.
I cannot wait to hear anybody who was born before 1982 when we go through this running back list, because you are going to lose your mind.
Yeah, so on deck, we got Sexton and Garland, greatest running backs, and the NFL schedule game. So what that essentially means, well, I'll let Sammy explain it because I think he explains it a little bit better. But we got that coming, and we're going to talk about a few other things, too, on tonight's show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the NFL schedule game, basically, each one of us are going to walk through each game of the upcoming Browns schedule. We're going to say whether or not we think they're going to win or lose. We're going to total the wins and losses at the end of it. Depending on, you're absolutely right, AJ. That was directed at you, my friend. We are going to, depending on how many wins we each pick, discuss playoffs and how far we think we can go. And that's the schedule game.
Simple as that. Simple as that. So next quick topic. The late great, or I'm sorry, not late great, but happy birthday, Willie Mays. So let me bring up Sammy's agenda so I make sure I get this going right. So Willie Mays, 660 home runs, a 12-time Gold Glove winner, and the amazing over-the-shoulder catch against the yours truly Cleveland Indians of 1954 during the World Series.
Michael Jordan isn't the only one to put us on a Gatorade commercial. It's been happening since the 50s. Thank you, Willie.
Happy birthday to Mr. Willie Mays.
And I believe he is. Tom will have to double check this. I believe he is Barry Bonds' godfather.
I think you're right.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. It's a little piece of trivia there. He is godfather to the biggest head in baseball of all time.
Yes.
Guy had a size 27 hat. It's weird.
But yeah, so and one thing actually before I forget, COVID, the one topic we didn't touch on is next week they're going to release daycares. What's going on with that? So I skipped right through
Monday
it.
They're going to discuss when they're going to open them.
So next week they're going to discuss on when. My assumption is probably going to be right at the end of the month. We'll go through, get some restaurants open, the salons open, and then see how that goes. Because obviously daycares are going to be definitely a germ-infested area, so that's going to be interesting. And speaking of another somewhat of a COVID topic, just a little bit of one, NBA practice in states with no restrictions. So states such as Georgia, Florida, and Texas right now, they are opening practice facilities for those teams. Your guys' take on that, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, whatever you want to call it.
So, as with all things, I know I sound like a broken record. I am not anti-opening. I am anti-opening without following the restrictions. There are some states that are flat out irresponsible, have been flat out irresponsible the entire time of this pandemic. One of the number ones in that is Florida. Florida last to close, first to open. Even when they were closed, they really weren't following anything. So, let's.
Ooh, Billman brings up a good point. Not to interrupt you, Sammy, but the Cavs can practice starting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So let's open up practices for a season that's not going to happen, but let's do it with the proper restrictions and making sure that you are not unnecessarily infecting people who shouldn't be infected, or making it a point where you have to waste tests on people that could have been avoided and used on people who actually need the test. Because believe it or not, everybody, that's still an issue. They still don't have all the testing supplies they need. PPE, still not great. Still not very easily available for a lot of nurses. So I understand everybody wants stuff open. Let's do it. But just be prepared and do it the right way.
Absolutely.
It ties back into what we talked about earlier. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for NBA teams to open up their practice facilities. But like Sammy said, you need to do it in the right way. So I think for a guy like LeBron, this might be a controversial opinion, but LeBron stays ready. LeBron's like Chuck Norris. He doesn't sleep. He waits. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, it's going to benefit a guy like Alex Caruso. It's going to benefit a guy like Jetty Osman. It's going to benefit a guy like Brandon Knight to be back in there practicing, getting back into the groove of things. If you do this right, you could be at the forefront of opening things up and setting an example, because the only example that the NBA set with COVID-19, in contrast to Roger Goodell in the NFL, is like the precedent that they set was make a joke out of it and touch microphones and say, "Oh, coronavirus. Oh, I'm Rudy Gobert." You know what I mean? Like, that's just not a good look, bro. And then you get the scent, all the negative stuff that came out with the NBA. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert no longer friends. They don't know if they can repair this relationship. What are you hearing with the NFL? Oh, hey, we're going to do this the right way. Hey, we're going to link up. Joe Judge from the Giants right now is encouraging his rookies to meet with veterans by playing Fortnite and Zoom chatting. That's good stuff right there. That's how you do things the right way right now. If you can get guys in, for the Cavs, like Jetty Osman, Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, those guys together and allow them to gel a bit more, that's going to be beneficial. But I can't see a benefit in having guys like Giannis, LeBron, Harden, Westbrook, Anthony Davis going back in and doing this, because if your superstars get infected, that affects your product and sets you back. But if your guys that need to get in the gym and start getting ready can get in the gym, that's the benefit. The benefit isn't saying, "Hey, look at us, guys, we're open back up." The benefit is, "Hey, we're doing this for the guys that need it, and other guys can come, but 4 at a time, man. That's it. And then I got to spray this arena down." You know.
Yep.
It's gonna be a good thing.
My thing is just so in basketball themselves. Obviously, what is there typically 11 to 12 man squads?
About 12, yeah. 12
on a roster, including all the player personnel, coaches.
Usually, you're gonna have about 15 players because you have people who don't travel and injures and blah blah blah. So
right.
About 15.
So practicing, right. So practicing, you're going to be able to keep the amount of people. I won't say at a minimum. Obviously, the gathering more than 10 is going to be impossible. That's just not.
Right.
It's going to be impossible. I guess you
4 at a time. They set 4 at a time as a restriction.
throughout the entire with whoever's opening. So 4 players in a facility at a time, and that's it, or
At
4
one time.
total people.
No, four players at one time, and head coaches can't oversee practices. Only your assistant coaches. So
Okay.
So they're going to
that's
keep it
actually
at
really
about
good.
12 to 13 people in the arena at all times on a
Yeah.
giant basketball court. So you can do it safely.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely
You can absolutely can. I mean, because you can just run, defensive drills, offensive drills. You know what I mean, back and forth.
Shooting
So I
drills.
think my opinion is, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's the first step, into getting us back to normalcy in a way, which I think I think that's what we all are striving for. But but
When I work with some guys out of Cleveland that gave me a really nice business tidbit one day, and they said that if money is your only motive for starting a business, you'll never be successful.
Mhm.
That applies to this opening again too. If money is your only motive to open businesses again, if money is your only motive to get sports and stuff back again, then you're not making it from the right place, and it's not going to work. You
Not
have
at
to
all.
have always in the front line of your thinking has to be, can we do this safely and to return to get back as normal as possible?
100%. 100%.
Right.
If it's just about money and blah blah, I'm broke and we've got to make money here and we've got to, money is important, but if it's your primary concern, you're not getting anywhere.
Never.
Anywhere.
That's
make
any
them wear
aspect of
masks
life.
and goggles. I don't know that that's going to work out that well, but
Hey, listen,
worth a
it worked
shot.
out- it worked for Horace Grant.
Hey, we said it 10 times.
Oh Lord! All right, so rolling right in a little bit of basketball. I have no idea, to be quite frank with you, on who's better, but these two seem to think that they do. So, quick next topic is going to be. Oh, let's see if I can hit the right button.
MOE, John McCoy.
Anywho,
That's right. Money over
Sexton or
everything.
Garland? Who is the right man? So, who's going to be the right man to lead the Cleveland Cavaliers whenever that time frame does come back?
So, I'm just gonna start mine real quick. I hate Colin Sexton. I hated when we drafted him. I think he is a come off the bench guard at his very best. He is Deion Waiters. He is Boobie Gibson. He's not who I would build. I wouldn't build a shed around him, let alone a whole organization.
Are they both point guards? Is that correct?
Well, that's the beauty of
That's
it.
what they're listed at.
Yeah, you got one listed as a point guard and the other listed as a shooting guard when they're playing together.
What's up,
both of them,
Raja?
I think Garland is taller. I think Garland sits at 6'3" or 6'4", and Sexton 6'2".
Yeah.
But they're the same guy. It's the same. It reminds me of when we drafted Kyrie Irving and Deion Waiters thought he was going to be the man, and we're like, yeah, we'll see you, bud. So I think Garland is who I'm building around, and I'm going to be real honest with you. I wouldn't build around him either. I think he is a piece on a good team, but you really need to find. He's not a stud. Put it this way, he's not a stud. They've got a team that's going to be competitive in a terrible East right now, until they meet the real team in Toronto.
Yeah.
Or Milwaukee? Go ahead, Tom.
Or Milwaukee. Yeah.
So here's my thing. I don't like Colin Sexton because I don't like his play style. Colin Sexton plays like an inefficient Allen Iverson. He plays like the kid who you met on the playground that had answer sixes on and an Iverson jersey and the sleeve and the finger wrap right here and thought he was Allen Iverson.
I thought you were going into something else
he's
there.
not Allen Iverson. So the thing is, but Colin Sexton plays with heart. Okay, Colin Sexton goes out there and he tries his ass off. It's probably a wrong term, but he does. Darius Garland, I think, is a more fundamentally sound player and a better player. But Darius Garland had a major injury 3 games into college, and he, in my opinion, plays in a way that only serves to re-injure himself. Okay, so I know the argument of Kyrie Irving. Well, Kyrie hurt himself too and only played I think 8 games at Duke or something like that. But Kyrie Irving came into a situation with the Cavs where he had Tristan Thompson to help finish at the rim. He later got LeBron to take a lot of that load of driving off. He got Kevin Love to dish to. Kyrie Irving was able to mitigate that weakness and later strengthen other aspects of his game. Darius Garland isn't
terrible.
Darius Garland isn't afforded that opportunity right now. So my opinion is I would rather build around Colin Sexton until we build a team that we can trade Sexton away, or we can turn Colin Sexton into Bobby Jackson, that Sacramento Kings point guard who came off the bench for all those years.
That's the problem, Tom. I think I would keep him if he was going to be that guy. Bobby Jackson, or you know what? I would take him even if he was going to be like a Norris Cole. When the Heat had Norris Cole and Mario Chalmers going back and forth. But when that dude gets on the court, he's like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Along Came Polly, man. Let it rain.
Stop.
I think we should change it to Let It Ride, but that's just an opinion of mine. It's not a big deal.
Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman, man. The best Penguin that there never was.
That dude, I'm telling you, man, that dude gets on the court. He shoots from the inbound. I just don't understand, man. I've always hated Colin Sexton, though. So it makes one thing that is hard for me. It is very, very difficult for me to put aside my hatred for players and give them and give them a fair shake. And I understand that. I know that. You know what I mean? So
something I was thinking about while you guys were talking about.
What's up?
Right. Something I was thinking about while you guys were talking about them. Just real quick before we roll into the next topic and talk about the business of the day. What do you guys think happens to Kevin Love after this season?
God, I hope he goes away. I don't care where he goes, just not here.
But I mean, is there going to be trade potential, like someone that we can get in decent return, or is we just going to cut him, or what do you guys think?
I think they're going to try and trade him, but I think his worth is going to be so low. You're looking at like picks 3 years from now, or you know what would be ideal for the Cavs if they locked him and Sexton up and sent them to a contender for some up and coming talent.
Sure. But the problem with that, Sammy, is that Kevin Love probably has the most untradeable contract in the NBA. So if you're looking to get a return for Kevin Love, you have to balance the books, essentially.
Thanks, LeBron.
So the thing is when I look at contracts and stuff, the only player that I could realistically see like matching salary would be a guy like Chandler Parsons, who was signed to that god-awful contract by the Memphis Grizzlies and never played a game, and now he's with the Atlanta Hawks. So the thing is could you facilitate a 3-team trade with maybe like Portland, where you can get like a Zach Collins and Chandler Parsons to match salaries, and then cut Parsons. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're
right,
that's
exactly what it's going to have to be, is a player like that got paid big time money. But here's the problem: even when Kevin Love leaves, Kevin Love's not even the worst contract we have. The worst contract we have, bar none, in the history of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball is Tristan Kardashian.
Well, thank God his contract's up. Thank God.
I had to process that for a second, but yeah, go ahead.
You got an ass like a Kardashian, but that's not. But that's about it.
I mean that dude.
Hey, Jake, thanks for joining.
That contract we paid him like he was an absolute stud.
Well, that was because general manager LeBron came in.
Yeah, like he is at very best a come off the bench forward.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So we still got another big show tonight, obviously, like we talked about, guys. Well, first, before I go in further, don't forget to like and share our stream. We just hit a little over 500 followers. I think we were at 506 last time I looked.
He'd make him a shooting guard.
But we are at 506 followers. We want to keep boosting that number. Don't forget, guys, we have a lot of stuff going on that we kind of have in the works.
We have
We're
a
not going to
YouTube
talk
channel.
about it. Oh yes, yeah. So don't forget, we do have a loop tube. That was terrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
For a website right there, guys.
A YouTube
Ryan has an
channel.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, boy.
I'm
So
subscribed. It's a good deal.
YouTube channel, 440 and goal.
Yes.
I think that's what did you name it? Sam? Well, obviously
It's
440 and goal.
It's 440 and goal, the YouTube channel. All you have to, if you type in 440 and goal on your YouTube search bar, just subscribe to our channel. So if you can like and subscribe, right now I think only the sit downs with Sammy are on there, but all the
There's
episodes.
a couple episodes, but yeah, from this point forward, we're going to start pushing all episodes over so they can be reviewed. Hopefully, you guys can listen to them like a podcast if you didn't get to catch it.
And we're
whatever
gonna
it may be.
Content on there, like some 2
Yeah.
to 3 minute shorts and stuff. So it'll be definitely
Yeah.
worth checking out.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, real quick, we're going to take a quick break. And the break is like we've been doing, business of the day. Let's pop it up as soon as my computer goes here.
Paint.
So, J&W Paint, I'm going to let Sam take over from this one.
J&W Paint, local business right here in Ashtabula, local family, owned by the Jepsons. I know Andrew personally, went to school with them throughout all my years in school. Very good people. Anybody who knows my painting skills, they're not good at all, and I hate painting in general. But when it came time for me to paint my living room, because I was told that's what I was doing that day, I went and saw my guy Andrew. Told him I didn't feel like painting a whole bunch. He showed me how to get what I need to get done in a good, efficient manner and at a very reasonable price. So if you want to go to a Walmart or one of these big places to get paint, they're going to look at you as just another customer. I think the fact that Andrew is going to take a little bit of time and fulfill whatever paint needs you need is a reason to go see him. So I'm always, anytime we paint anything at the Torres house, it's going to be from J&W Paint. I would suggest you go check them out. At very minimum, give them a call because they'll let you know what they can do.
You guys can catch their contact information and their address. They're located right over off Woodman Avenue, 5836 Woodman Avenue, obviously in Ashtabula. Sammy, you paint like a 7-year-old niece per Jake Newsom. Or a 7-year-old niece. I'm sorry. We did well on here. We like to support local businesses. That's why you guys see them pop up. I think last week we did Dublin, but check out J&W Paint for your painting needs. Anything you need, I'm sure he'll be able to hook you up with. So 440-997-0905.
Tell him Sammy sent you.
It won't get you a discount, I promise. He'll just say thank you. All right, are we just going right through it here, guys? Or are we taking a quick
Let's
2.5?
take our first break. Yeah, let's take
All
our
right,
first break. And then we
break.
come back. When we come back, guys, we're gonna be talking
Greatest
this
running
great
back
topic that Matt
Yes.
Keene gave us the topic for greatest running backs by tiers. And anybody born before 1982, just get ready because you're gonna be mad.
Hey, listen,
Here's a
I
teaser.
have
Eric
my,
Dickerson is getting zero love on this show.
the one thing about this thing, I really have my Teflon on right now because I just want Jake's insults that I'm inevitably going to get to just bounce right off me tonight.
I mean, just get him ready, Jake.
There you
It's
go.
coming.
Just
ready,
get
it's
them ready,
coming.
Jake.
But I'm going to
Line them up, baby.
I'm going to tell you right now,
Like
baby.
they're Boilermakers at the
I'll tell you
bar.
right
Just
now, I
line
have
them up.
conviction.
Yeah, boy. All right, so let's take our 2-minute, 48-second break. Bring it up.
Jake, your wife's calling.
Give you some Lift Bridge love. Hit play. See y'all here in a minute.
248. Turn the
Bye.
music.
Let it ride.
Pretty soon I'm gonna start singing. Or not.
Yeah, 4-4-0 and goal. Come here to cleanse your soul. I can't do it as good as him. I'm going to stop.
James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you gonna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
Are the Browns Super Bowl contenders?
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
All right.
All right, back in
Here we
action.
go.
Hopefully,
All right.
yeah. Can you guys hear me? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yes, and audience, sorry about that if there was a delay in the music. I don't know what was going on. We've been having a few hiccups here and there. Don't forget, it's a little bit of a learning curve for us. We're going to figure it out, though, some way, shape, or form. So,
It was Carol Baskin.
yeah, it was Carol Baskins. If you're going to blame it on somebody, blame it on her.
Every day.
So diving in, this has been a great topic. We've been talking about pretty much for the past 2 days. Let's move in. Let me get the image up here so I can put it on the screen. And then the running back hierarchy. Sammy, who is this from? Where did we get this from? This like
So this
ESPN or
Actually, this was just a post given to us, sent to the page by Matt Keene, Butters.
Hey,
All right.
Thank you.
thank you, Matt.
Thank you so
Matt.
much. He sent this, said it would be a great show topic, and I absolutely agree with him. As you can see, 4 tiers of running backs. There should really be 5 tiers because there is one running back in tier 1 who should be in a tier of his own.
So you mean 6 tiers? There's
Sorry,
5 tiers.
Yeah, 6 tiers. Yes, excuse me, 6 tiers.
Yep.
Because there's one running back that should be in a tier of his own. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not listening to nobody that tells me Barry Sanders isn't the best to ever run a football in the NFL, AFL, XFL, UFL,
Bold statement.
LFL.
Bold statement.
Yeah, Barry Sanders the best to ever do it. And I understand Jim Brown. You know, Jim Brown was great. I'm a Browns fan, so automatically I'm supposed to defer to him as the greatest of all time. I don't believe so. I think half the problem with Jim Brown is the competition he played was garbage at that time. He was not playing against anywhere near the same athletes that these guys are playing with right now. Walter Payton is, he's great. He's great. Emmitt Smith, the Dallas Cowboys, I loved him when I was a kid. He was my second favorite running back. Emmitt Smith is the all-time leader in touchdowns, I believe, at 164. Yeah. So
keep going.
Yeah, so he's a all-time leader in rushing touchdowns. So, great, good, grand. Barry Sanders did more with less on a team with less than any other running back that could do it. Nobody could tackle him. He didn't go down unless he wanted to go down. Barry Sanders is the greatest of all time. Going into that second list, and here's where I said the people born before 1982 are probably going to lose their head. There's a guy on that list that I don't even know should be on the list. And part of this is because I've only seen highlights of him play. And that's Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson, everybody talks a big game about Eric Dickerson. He's good. He's good. I'm not sure I would put him above. He's definitely not above LT. LT should probably be in the top tier. All things considered.
All things considered, absolutely.
Yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson, that dude is one of the best that people know, but nobody ever talks about. Marshall Faulk makes sense where he's at. Adrian Peterson, he's good. He was great. Elite. So I leave him there if we can move LT up. If we can't move LT up, I move AP down to tier 3. Earl Campbell was an absolute force. The dude had, quads the size of telephone poles. OJ Simpson, I never watched play. Gale Sayers, he's got some nice stats, but he played 6 years, which is a definite hindrance. So just based on the fact that he only plays 6 years, I'm dropping him down into tier 4.
So one person I'm gonna kind of put out there is Frank Gore. Frank Gore is number 3 on the all-time rushing list. Now,
I would put Frank Gore very comfortably in tier 4. And I think you could make an argument for him to be in tier 3. The problem with Frank Gore is his stats at this point are almost going to be a product of just being in the league forever, as opposed to being in the league and being a great running back.
Correct.
I mean,
and another one.
Just because someone played past their prime or what you're considering doesn't mean that they're not that good. I definitely think he should be up there in tier 3. In my honest opinion, I don't think he should be at 4. The simple fact that he's number 3 and number 3 on the all-time rushing yards list.
But
I mean, he comes. Emmitt Smith is number 1. Walter Payton's number 2. Frank Gore's number 3. So 2 of those players are in the top tier.
Yeah.
So
there are 2 guys that are not on this list. Frank Gore is one of them. I don't believe Bo Jackson belongs on this list because he just doesn't play long enough. I think Bo Jackson is wonderful to watch. I think had he not got injured, he would have probably been in tier 1. But just doesn't have the longevity to be considered one of the best to ever do it. And somebody who is not on this list, but if you look, is on just an absolute ton of lists, is Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
Jamal Charles belongs on this list. Probably I would jump over tier 5 and put him into tier 4 because he is definitely in the same company as Marcus Allen, Terrell Davis. Tony Dorsett is another one. I think older guys than me remember him more vividly, and I never watched him, so I wasn't ever enthralled with him. I know one of the guys, maybe it's Terry or it might be Kylan Baker. They said that that's their favorite running back of all time. Franco Harris, I don't believe belongs on this list at all. Ricky Waters, he's good where he's at. Thurman Thomas, I would put.
Ooh, Marlon brings up a great point.
Eddie George. Well, Eddie George, he's another one. We remember him with rose-colored glasses because he's Ohio State.
That's true.
His pro career was good, but not great. But Curtis Martin is not better than Thurman Thomas.
No.
I mean, that's all there is to that. John Riggins is another great one that should be on that list.
Absolutely.
Jerome Bettis is right where he belongs. When you get to that bottom tier, there's a bunch of guys that probably shouldn't even be on anybody's list of all time.
They probably could be shuffled back and forth.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch belongs there, absolutely. Sean Alexander, no. Maurice Jones-Drew, no. Chris Johnson, yes, just because he lights the league up for about 3 years. Edgerrin James was a monster.
Yep.
Jamal Lewis was another flash in the pan type of guy. Priest Holmes, okay. I can see the argument.
So on here,
yeah,
I say the only current players on here right now is Adrian Peterson, correct? I mean, he is still playing for Washington.
Yeah,
has retired.
Technically, he is still playing. Yes.
Technically,
that's the only current player. Right? Just so I know.
Tony Williams, we moved Bo down off the list because he doesn't play in the league long enough. And LaShawn McCoy does not belong on this list at all.
Is there any current running backs that you could say that are still playing that may be able to make their way onto this list right now?
Yeah.
I think the no-brainer is McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But I think, and again, this is my personal, because I'm an Ohio State guy, I don't see any reason that Zeke can't get on that list because he can be a monster in an offense that is going to rely heavily on him. And we got one guy in Cleveland that could fool around and get on that list.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, so I'm talking about like currently, like today. Like if there was one person that you could, you know, could
you
just
think
throw him on there.
Actively playing
That can be on this
Christian
list.
McCaffrey.
Obviously, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's just a monster.
I wouldn't know. If you're talking about where he's at statistically right now in his career, absolutely not. He is not, because he's the same thing as Bo Jackson. If we're looking at stats, it's 2 years.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I want to run through this hierarchy real quick, Ryan. If you can throw it back up on the screen real quick. I'm gonna do a quick run through. So I'm pretty good with tier 1. The only thing I don't like, about it is, like Sammy said, I'm a Browns guy through and through. So, you know, there's no denying that Jim Brown was great, but I can't respect Jim Brown just because of all the problems he had, like beating women and stuff like that. That just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm good with him being up there, but I'm not good with like showing him that respect, because I think anytime you do that, you know, you kind of just lose the respect. But you know, it makes sense. Tier 2, I'd throw Eric Dickerson down to tier 3, and I'd move OJ up to tier 2. Reason being is because Eric Dickerson was great, but Eric Dickerson played the game, but he didn't play it with any heart, in my opinion.
I got to throw this out there. So I'm not trying to be, you know, I want to say a smart, you know what, but you just said you don't have the respect for for Jim Brown because of beating women, but you want to move OJ Simpson up when he was convicted of murder.
Yeah, but I'm
just saying, I got to put that out there, man. I got to put that out there.
What I'm saying is I don't respect OJ as like a person, but as a football player, I do. So I'd move OJ to tier 2.
I would say the biggest thing,
but a football player, I do. I wouldn't move Jim Brown out of tier 1. You know what I mean? Like, he's still there.
Okay.
In my mind, Adrian Peterson is my favorite running back ever. My second favorite team is the Vikings. It's always been that way since my father and I watched my first football game of Vikings-Browns. So I just look at AP with rose-colored glasses. Curtis Martin, I moved down, and I move Jerome Bettis up into tier 3. In tier 5, I'm moving Priest Holmes up to tier 4. Priest Holmes, in my opinion, is just the most unappreciated running back in NFL history. Priest Holmes set the bar for what a running back was in the 2000s and early 2010s, and no one puts respect on his name. Jamal Lewis lit the league up for 3 years, and then he went and sold cocaine and, went to the Browns and had a big drop-off. So I say he's a fringe tier 5. I'd put Sean Alexander in over Jamal Lewis. That's my thing right there. Chris Johnson staunchly belongs at 5, like Sammy said, because he introduced the notion of a running back with a 4.2 speed that could be an every down back and not just a scat back.
I mean, if you want to talk about someone that lit the league on fire for 2 to 3 years, that man did it. I think it was 2 years, but yeah, I mean, he put up godly numbers in that 2 year span, and then he left.
He won me a fantasy league. He won me a fantasy league with Michael Vick. So much love. But and Fred Taylor in tier 5. Fred Taylor was just transcendent with the Jaguars, and that dude definitely needs to be shown a little bit more respect.
The thing is, though,
where he
Tom,
belongs.
if you put Fred Taylor in there, then you absolutely have to
that
put
is Fred Taylor,
through.
Sammy, that is Fred Taylor. 28 is Fred Taylor.
Oh, I thought okay. If you put Fred Taylor up there, then you got to put Maurice Jones-Drew in there because they're the same player.
Oh, for sure.
They're the honestly, you know who else is the same player? Curtis Martin. Those 3 guys are like, they are good running backs on bad teams that just packed in the stats.
But
and that doesn't mean.
Here's the thing about Curtis Martin, though. When I look at these guys, I can remember plays from a lot of these guys that, like, the only thing I remember is Curtis Martin is when Lil Wayne talked about him in his song Kush, like Travis Martin and White and Green. That's the only thing I remember about Curtis Martin. Okay, like Curtis Martin had 9 straight, I think, 1,000-year seasons.
Yeah,
But he should have had 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons with that offensive line and just deplorable quarterback play. I mean, who did
he
he have?
was an
Chad
uneventful running back on an uneventful team, but
Yeah.
he was absolutely, you could count on that guy. He is what Denver running backs were for like 10 years.
Ooh,
Like,
Now, Pump Boy says Ricky Williams is tier 5 too. I don't necessarily agree. If we're gonna go a running back from that era, I would put Clinton Portis in there. I would put Clinton Portis because that dude's kind of disrespected. Clinton Portis was a dog.
you
for a
can
long
argue
time.
Clinton Portis. You can. I see it.
I just can't argue Ricky Williams because that dude liked smoking pot more than he liked running a football and making millions of dollars. Like, I can't agree with that. Trust me, there's nothing that good.
I mean, I would say my end of the spectrum, real quick. Well, I didn't mean to go solo on me there, but my end of the spectrum, the biggest thing for me is Frank Gore, man. I mean, putting up that many yards, regardless of how old somebody is, how long you've been in the league, how many teams you've done it with. I think he's closer to a tier 3, maybe even 2. I mean,
What?
yeah.
I would say tier 3, Ryan. I would say he's
Yeah, I mean,
fringe
he
tier 3.
is number 3 on the all-time leading. I mean, I can't get over that stat. I know Sammy over there laughing in the background like that.
Because it's
You know what you are. Like, and
You know what
hey,
the
hold
crazy
on.
thing about Frank Gore is?
Frank Gore
crazy
is
thing about
a
Frank
little
Gore-
less than a little more than 1,000 yards away from taking over Walter Payton's record. I mean,
He is.
Frank Gore. He has been. I know he's been a workhorse for a lot of teams, but Frank Gore, to put those numbers up, I don't care if you spent 30 years in the league. That's like saying Tom Brady isn't one of the greatest, if not the greatest, quarterbacks in the league because he's been there for 20 years. You can't use the. You
I think
just
a better
cannot.
comparison is Peyton Manning right there, Ryan, because Peyton Manning went to Denver and didn't light it up the last couple of years, but he was still a great quarterback.
Just so you know, if we're going by that, and I know you'll love this because you love stats, Tom.
I do.
So,
by the way, can I throw one out real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Frank Gore is entering his 18th year in the league. His son just turned 16. How crazy is that?
So,
like, God in heaven.
You've got Emmitt Smith as the number 1 overall leader in rushing yards with 18,000. We're not going to go into that, but he plays in the league from 90 to 2004.
Yeah.
So 14 years.
So he plays 14 years. Walter Payton is second with 16,000 and some basically 17,000. He plays in the league from 75 to 87.
And
Frank Gore right now
is much his last couple of years either.
Yeah, Frank Gore is in there right now. He comes in the league in 2005, and it is 2019. He has 15,347, and that is 15 years, correct?
Yeah, so I messed that up. He is
14, 2005 to 19
years.
is 14.
14, you're right.
In his 15, 16 year, and his son just turned 18. That's what I messed up. I apologize.
Barry Sanders is 4th on that list with 15,000, only 100 yards less than him. He does that in 8 years. So
that's nuts, man.
Now, I am not I'm not taking any credit away from Barry. I mean, there's no way you take credit away from Barry. What he did in Detroit, it was amazing, especially on those teams that were terrible.
They were
a lot of them were.
You know what, Ryan? You bring up a good point because
simple fact he's still third on the all-time rushing list.
You bring up a good point because looking at Emmitt Smith, who's the all-time leader right now, he's playing 15 years. He plays 15 years to accumulate those stats. Now, let's take into account that the 1 year was in Arizona. I feel like he had 300 yards.
2 years in AZ. 2 years in AZ, just so you know.
He never goes over 1,000 yards either one of those years.
He spent his last 2 seasons with Arizona before he retired.
Can I throw something controversial out there? So we talk about Barry Sanders being in the league for 8 years and doing wonderful things in 8 years. There's only one other Barry I can think about that did something great in 8 years. And his name's Barry Obama.
Oh, Barack. But you know what? Another one on that list
I'm sorry,
is
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
another one
It's
on
not
that list is
popular.
Curtis Martin, and we talked about him just kind of being a guy. Curtis Martin is 6th on that list. He only plays in the league 10 years.
Wait,
95
AJ says they were terrible. What years? I got to get into this because What year? Barry Sanders played for Detroit for?
Terrible such a subjective word.
No,
I
Barry
mean-
Sanders played in Detroit. They could not win playoff games.
But like I said, terrible's a subjective word, man. Like
Hold on.
people say
I gotta look
Madden's
at their record.
terrible.
I
It's
gotta
not
look at the
bad.
record over the course. What years
I
did
do
he
too,
play in
Marlon.
Detroit?
I do too. Got to pour one out for him.
Years, college.
Barry was there from 89 to 98.
Okay, so 89 to
Always in our
98. Detroit. I gotta look this up. Just give me a second. You guys keep talking, whatever it is. But 1989
But
to
you know, Barry. So
Sammy,
Walter
here's a question
Payton.
for you.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, brother. All right, so we're talking about running backs, obviously right now in the tiers. If Adrian Peterson never got hurt and Adrian Peterson didn't run into that bull malarkey with his son, would you? And he sustained his play. Would you put Adrian Peterson at tier 1?
No, I would put him.
Still have him at tier 2.
I would put him in tier 2. I would
So
put him in
what
tier
I'm
2.
saying is, when I say that, so I've averaged it out before. If Adrian Peterson never ran into those problems and he never got hurt, and I averaged out like a couple seasons, if he were still playing today, he'd be number 2 on the all-time rushing list.
Yeah.
So you'd still put him in tier 2.
Okay, so I got it here. So from 1989 to 98, I'm gonna read them off. So did they have a couple decent seasons? Sure, they did.
Yeah.
In 89, so Barry was a rookie. The Lions went 7-9, finished 3rd. In 90, they went 6-10, finished 3rd. In 91, they did have a good record at 12-4, first in the conference and lost their conference finals.
Scott Mitchell.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
In
that
92, they were last in the division at 5-11. In 93, they went 10-6, so they were first. So we have 2 years right now that they did good, but they lost WC. I would imagine WC is wild card. Hold on one second. Let me bring this back up. Okay, 90. Where was that? 93. Okay, and then 94 they went 9-7, which isn't a terrible record, but it's not the greatest either. They lost to the wild card.
They were just a
10-6 in 95. Right, 10-6. They lost at the wild card. The Detroit Lions in 96 were 5-11, 97 9-7, 98 Barry's last year 5-11,
and that's why he retires. But they had been
because they're terrible.
They weren't terrible. They were. You know who they were? They were Cincinnati.
They weren't even Cincy. I'll bet if I bring. All right, let's bring.
They were Cincinnati when Cincinnati had Johnson and Hujmanzada and stuff like that. They were playoffs for a couple years and then they fall down. Playoffs for a couple years. They were never terrible. They weren't Browns bad ever.
No, I didn't say that. Right.
They just should have been better, considering they had Barry Sanders on the team. But you had Scott Mitchell, you had Herman Moore, and Johnny Morton. Johnny Morton was the speedster, and Herman Moore was like 6'8". And and Mitchell still found ways to throw interceptions in a team that was run heavy.
So in my opinion, they weren't. So they're not the greatest in any way, shape, or form. Maybe terrible is a bad term, but it wasn't like they were some.
They were just
team that was coming in, knocking down the doors, and beating the brakes off people year in and year out.
They were just present.
They just weren't.
They were just present, is what they were. They were just there,
right?
Like exactly like he said, second tier team. They were, a playoff contender every year. And even when you had them,
they had the thought
even when you had them in the playoffs, you didn't really worry about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know what that proves more than without a shadow of a doubt.
Right. I mean, that's like the Browns going to the it's just I don't know. I mean,
even back then, you can't win with just a running back. If you can't win with just Barry Sanders, you can't win with just anybody.
Correct.
Right. Right. I mean, he was probably in that 8-9 year period, if not the greatest player, the best player in the game at that
But
point.
I'll tell you one I just don't understand, and everybody is so in love with him. I understand that Bo Jackson was the best overall athlete that most people had ever seen.
Two sport.
Bo Jackson doesn't belong on the best of any running back list. He just doesn't. He does not play long enough.
How many years did he play?
I want to say 4, but it might have been
Let's
less.
see. I'll fact check.
Let me
Go
tell
ahead.
you
Go
right
ahead. Go
now.
ahead.
Let me tell you right now, Bo Jackson might have not been one of the best running backs, but those Bo Jackson Nikes, which I have 4 pairs of, those are the hardest trainer shoes around. And by the way, I'm going to plug something real quick. While Ryan fact checks. So I was talking about doing a show. Everyone knew about it. I was
For
interview
you.
Thank
Pig
you,
and
Tony
these
Williams.
guys.
It's 4 years. He plays
So-
38 games.
Yep.
So Sammy made the
Hey,
suggestion.
Tony, just give me a minute, okay? My fingers don't type as fast as yours. I'm sorry.
Sammy made the suggestion. So my new show is going to be about shoes, fashion, music, that kind of thing. So I'm plugging the Bo Jackson thing right now. I think I might, for my first show, bring out those 4 pairs of the Bo trainers. You know what I mean? Let me know.
Yep, that's going to be stuff on the YouTube channel
Yeah.
that everyone will be able to check
Guys,
out.
if we're talking about Bo Jackson as an athlete, I will never argue against it.
He was a great athlete.
you know-
The only athlete that rivals him is primetime. Deion
Jim
Sanders.
Thorpe.
Oh,
Jim Thorpe was good. Jim Thorpe was great.
Yeah, Jim Thorpe. Jim
But I'm
Thorpe is
saying
the only one who.
current era of athlete.
Yeah, and Deion Sanders, you're right, was a better 2-sport athlete.
or athletes. I got to find out who else was.
And he played for the Yankees, bro. He played for the Yankees.
As
Bo
just
played
an
for the
overall
Royals.
athlete, I would pick Bo Jackson. Although there is some talk that Herschel Walker could have been an Olympian.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, absolutely.
In what
That kinda
sport?
changes it too.
In what sport?
Sprints,
Um,
I think.
Yeah, they
think it
had
was
him as a 100-meter dash runner.
Yeah. I mean, the boy could run. That's
Wow.
that's not the thing in question right here. The
Yeah.
boy could run. And he's
So-
an MMA
Jim
fighter.
Thorpe.
And he
Oh,
was an MMA fighter too. And he
Have you
swears
seen
up and
those
down.
abs?
And he swears up and down.
Damn.
The only workouts he does are sit-ups and push-ups.
I believe it.
man, I did not know that. I knew Dion played in. He was a 2-sport athlete, but he played in 641 MLB baseball games. Well, then now
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. What is there? There's 182 games in a year, right?
I believe he's the only player to ever play in a World Series, and
Series.
Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
he is.
Let's see. I will fact check. Did Dion?
I got the primetime shoes too, by the way.
I love Dion because he can't. He was on those Cowboys teams too.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, AJ Long. Herschel Walker was an Olympian. He was on a bobsled.
Bobsled. Yes, he
So-
was. He was the
Yeah,
guy
so,
in the back. He was,
You are right. No way. I didn't. I mean, I knew Dion. I didn't realize that fact. But Sanders
It's a
won
hoop.
2 Super Bowl titles with the Cowboys and made 1 World Series appearance.
Yep.
Making him the only individual to appear in both Super Bowl and World Series. So I wonder if he won a ring. It's a good
No,
question.
not
Anyone?
baseball.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's I mean that's amazing though. I mean, let's just put it out there. I mean, I
And
think
Dion
that's
picked it up because at that time, I remember when ESPN first came on that they were
no.
struggling for content, and it was very similar to what we have going on now. So they would throw these ridiculous events, and they held their own version of MTV's Rock and Jock, but it
Yeah.
was a dunk contest for non
Yep.
basketball
NBA players. Yeah.
So it was like Deion Sanders. I want to say, Ken Griffey for a fact I know did it.
Mike Conley Jr.'s dad was in that.
Mike Conley Jr.'s dad, and Deion. Deion could fly. Deion
Flew.
could fly.
Herschel
Not to
Walker.
mention, he's another one of those. In my sit down with Terry, we talk about all these legendary things that happen in the world of track and field. Deion Sanders has the legend of he shows up to the combine, gets out of the limo, runs a 4.240.
Wait. I'm interrupt you. Oh my, mind blown right now.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Herschel Walker. Does anyone know that Herschel Walker was a? Am I saying it's reading this right? Was an MMA fighter?
Still is.
Am I?
And he's
Yeah, he still is
undefeated.
very active.
And he's undefeated.
He's 2-0 per the site. I had no idea that Herschel Walker was an MMA
Yeah,
fighter.
so we'll have to cut into that
bro.
on Saturday.
Yeah, MMA heavy
Oh
show on
my
Saturday.
goodness. Wow.
But yeah, so
Herschel Walker.
Deion
So he was a
Sanders-
bobsled champion. He was an MMA fighter and played pro football.
and he also completely destroyed the Minnesota Vikings
Yeah.
by going to their team and by going to their team and giving absolutely everything. He is actually responsible for more Super Bowl rings than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he
Deion
is, man.
Sanders has the legendary status of showing up to the NFL Combine. He comes out, doesn't even change, runs a 4.2, stands up, and walks back to his limo without even asking the time.
Hey, can we talk about, by the way, how Herschel Walker dominated the USFL? He had like 2,400 rushing yards for the USFL in one season. 2,400 rushing yards. I remember that stat. But he also had like, I think it was, my dad told me this a long time ago. It was like 450 attempts to get there. Let's talk about running a dude. And so that's even more impressive. He had 450 carries one season and then follows it up by going to Dallas and rushing for 12 touchdowns in his rookie year. How crazy is that?
Tony, my
pick
pick
for him.
Tony, my pick for greatest running back of all time is very easy. It's Barry Sanders.
Yeah, that's
My pick for greatest running back of all time would I'd either go Sweetness or through rose-colored lenses, Adrian Peterson.
That's a hell of a jump.
Man, I gotta go Barry. And you guys won't like the reason, but I used to beat the brakes off my dad playing like Madden 95.
Yeah,
That's
Sweep
right, baby.
left,
NFL game
sweep
day,
all
bro.
the way left way. Yeah, NFL game day, not
NFL
Madden.
game day.
Sweep all the way left, coming back
only-
all the way to the right. Touchdown
only
every
equivalent-
time.
The only equivalent in sports video game history since that Barry Sanders cheat code was Michael Vick in Madden 04 when you could be at your own 1 yard line in the shotgun and just go.
Yes.
Listen, NFL game day had this
That's
glitch.
the only time my younger brother punched me in the face.
NFL game day had a glitch where if you ran over 125 yards with a running back, the following play he would blow out his Achilles every single time. So what you had to do when you went against Ryan
Did not know that.
is you would have to make sure he scored all of his points in the first quarter. That way, in the second quarter, Barry Sanders would go on a long run, and then he would get injured, and then he had to try and win with the arm of Scott Mitchell.
Scott.
So viewers out there,
Marlon throws up LT as his favorite
Yeah.
running back. That's an awesome.
yeah,
choice.
the viewers out there, throw them out there.
Great.
Who's your favorite running back? Everyone that's watching right now, type it out on the screen. Let us know who your favorite running back is, and let's see how much it coincides or does not coincide with what we have to say.
Yeah, I
should be
want to hear
interesting.
everybody's favorite running backs too. Let's get them out there.
I actually, funny story. The first time I ever met Marlon was in band. He was a couple years older than me, and we were just kind of talking. And somehow we started talking about LaDainian Tomlinson, and that's how we kind of bonded. It was pretty cool. Like that's my first memory of Marlon. We talked about that and David Robinson and Tim Duncan. So my first memory with Marlon is talking about sports. That's pretty.
You don't want to leave yet, Tony. We're getting into I guess if you're not a Browns fan, maybe you might want to
No.
leave, but we're getting into the NFL schedule. Let's see.
If,
Pump Boy.
If Tony
Coming
if you
in
wanna
with
play
Bear.
Madden, man, throw your gamer tag out. I'm always down to play some Madden with some of the followers, man. I love playing
Let's see.
Madden. Throw them out.
I'll tell you what, AJ, Ernest Biner absolutely belongs on that list. Maybe not
Yeah.
tier 4, but he's
What about
better
Kevin
than
Mack?
He's better than
I
Sean
don't know,
McCoy.
Ryan.
He's
Kevin
better than
Mack,
LaShawn
that's a bit of a
McCoy.
stretch.
He's definitely better than Sean Alexander.
Oof. Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy, why do you say things to hurt me, dude?
What about
What do you think
wait,
he's
what
hurting,
about
Leroy
just
Kelly
because
is
of the
Bob
stigma
Coleman.
this
Oh,
man,
Mr. Billman, that's a
brings.
good one.
Marshawn Lynch,
Listen,
beast
Long
mode.
time-
about your chicken.
He's a stud.
It's stud.
I mean, any man that can shake off, what was that, like 10 defenders, like basically 75% of the team, he shook them off and then grabbed his groin and jumped into the end zone. Baller.
It was
Ballin',
at that
baby.
point. It was at that point New Orleans Saints players met their daddy, and it was Marshawn Lynch. I have never seen a player like Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is the only man that can go into a press conference and say nothing and say absolutely everything at the same time. That's an effective running back.
Listen, can you imagine being a defensive coordinator throwing 8 in the box and he still rattles off a 60-yard run on you? Not because he's faster, because he is fast, but he's not like elite fast. But your number one linebackers are going to hit him, and he is shaking them off like the overweight kid in midget league football. Like when that dude,
like playing backyard football at John McCoy's house and pummeling his uncle that one time, man.
When I saw that dude run, I always thought to myself, like, y'all better check his weight because he needs an X on his helmet.
Right. He probably need about 3 or 4 X's. Like he was a kid in midget league football. They didn't let play. Like they just he couldn't get in. They would not let him play because he was 80 pounds heavier than everybody else.
How crazy is it
joining the show, bro?
That we review Marshawn Lynch,
and that's also a great pick. Nick Billman with Mike Allstott. I love that.
We revere Marshawn Lynch so much, but think about the biggest blunder in Seahawks history. They could have won the Super Bowl. They're at their own, like, what was it, 3-yard line?
Yep.
Everything was stacked in the box. It was this. It was this meme I saw.
And
it was
didn't
Russell
give
Wilson.
it to him.
Like the meme I saw was, imagine you're Russell Wilson and you're dating Sierra, and you're waiting till marriage. That's just like lining up with Marshawn Lynch at the 3-yard line, and you throw the ball and get it picked off. Like
you can thank gray-haired Zach Morris for them losing that game, because anybody in the entire world, I don't know if he thought he was on Saved by the Bell still and was gonna hit like pause and nobody was gonna come, but anybody in the world, Hugh Jackson, Freddie Kitchens,
they'd run it with Marshawn.
Pat Shurmur.
I don't know. Hey, man, I don't know if Freddie would have. Let's be realistic, man. That cat just, every down he could throw the ball, he was trying to light up the sky, and it just failed miserably.
Not true. It was 3rd and 23, and he ran a draw play with Nick Chubb. Come on.
Okay. Come on.
He would have ran that ball.
Hey, Chud wasn't a bad. Chud was a shaft.
Get out of here.
Mike Patton would have ran that ball.
No. Hey, what about Peyton Hillis, the White Rhino?
Oh,
he
man.
was.
That was the new age Mike Allstott, bro.
That's
he
right.
was pummeling cats.
Except
Pummeling
he did
cats.
none of the work, half the damage, and was not half the running back that Mike Allstott was. You love him for being the Cleveland Brown.
No, I watched him when he was in Denver. He was putting cats on the ground in Denver, man.
He was.
And
the
then
problem
finally,
with Peyton Hillis was he was more concerned with being a Myoplex model than he was being an effective running back in the NFL. That's just my opinion.
I think it was the Madden cover that got him. Let's just be honest. Like, because Lamar's on the Madden cover this year, isn't he? Is Lamar on the Madden cover?
Mike Allstott is Coca-Cola. Peyton Hillis is Shasta.
Is that, and so Peyton Hillis is the Air Force Wands of the NFL.
First of all, Mike Allstott is Nike. Peyton Hillis is Pony.
Oh man.
At least can we give him the RBX stamp? Can we give him that?
That's a good one. I mean,
all right. So we do got to move into the next. Obviously, we could talk this all night, but the next one is going to be the one where we talk all night and we get people rolling. Don't forget to like the page, share the page. Next topic is going to be the NFL schedule game. I do believe, hopefully, I downloaded the right current schedule. Let's find out. Let me get rid of our running back hierarchy, bring in the schedule. Let me see if I could have swore I got it right, but I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, the 2020 Cleveland Browns schedule. So as you guys can see,
Boy,
you probably already have it on your phone.
Is that a stark contrast from last year?
Oh, I forgot to play my thing. I made a whole video for
Then
this.
throw it out there.
Yeah, it's 40 seconds. Hold on.
Pick it up.
Light it up. This makes me pumped up, gets me rocking and rolling, baby. I love the Browns. So a little action with little Baker, little Myles Garrett. Oh, Tom disappeared. Let's bring him off the screen. Oh, or put him on the screen, I guess. Kareem Hunt, the new guys, the fire jerseys. I love the new jerseys. Njoku, I think he's going to step up this year. And OBJ, it's time. The love between Baker and OB. Little Olivier Vernon, time for you to show up, buddy. And then Mac. So I did make that quickly. Oh, Tom is back. Let me pop him up.
Listen, that was a great video. I'm just severely disappointed that it doesn't end with Myles giving
I thought about it.
You should listen. Myles giving Mason a Coco Tasso, man. That's what you should have ended it with.
Coco Tasso.
Coco Tasso.
Garrett. Rudolph. Fight.
If you don't know what a Coco Tasso is, you need to look it up.
Yeah, boy.
Rudolph the Red Steeler.
No,
that's right.
Download.
All right. So,
let me see if I can bring it up real quick. PG. Hopefully it works. We'll see.
All right, I'm gonna go.
But yeah. So, anyways, I'm bringing this image up. Yeah. So let me throw up the schedule on the screen, guys. Give me 1 second here.
All right, go ahead.
So this is, let me bring it up big for everyone. So we can all see week 1 through 16. When's our bye? Ooh, week 9 bye. That's nice. That's right there, right in the middle where you want it to be.
Yep.
So food for thought real quick, though, before I let Sammy dive into this. The Cleveland Browns, if I recall right, reading it right, so excuse me if I'm wrong, but they have the 29th easiest schedule, followed up by Pittsburgh at 30. 32 was Baltimore. Pittsburgh was 30. Cleveland was 29. Cincinnati was at like 25 or 26. So the AFC North this year is not a long, windy road per the win percentage. So there is some great games lined up, especially, look at the Giants at week 15 and then followed up by the Jets. So they stay in New York. But sorry, guys, go ahead, Sam, before I could roll on all night. So.
No, that's all right, man. So I just hold on just a second. God damn it. So first game, Baltimore Ravens. We open the year with them. Nick says that's a Thursday though. September 13th is a Thursday. Which sucks because
no, what he's talking about is the home opener being on a Thursday night.
Oh, yeah, because they're away at Baltimore.
So the
Thursday. Oh, it says it right there, too, Sammy. Week 2, right underneath September 17th. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So week one, we go against the Baltimore Ravens. We lose that game. I don't think we're going to get destroyed, but we're going to lose that game for sure. I'm going to call that score 27-17. Baltimore. We keep it close. We keep it respectable until the end of the game. Week 2, home opener, Cincinnati Bengals. Thursday night football. We destroy the Bengals. We destroy them coming off of that first loss. Joe Burrows gets sacked at least 3 times in that game. This is going to be a game that's going to get people talking. Baker Mayfield is going to throw for a lot against this defense. Nick Chubb plays a bigger part in week 1 than week 2. So that week we go against the Bengals. Week 2, we are going to beat them 31-7. Week 3, we are home against the Washington Redskins. We're winning that ball game. Washington Redskins are an absolute train wreck. I think the big player in this game is going to be Nick Chubb, because Baker Mayfield, I still don't believe in him against, relatively adequate teams. So my score call for this game, hopefully somebody's writing this stuff down because I don't remember my numbers.
I'm working on it. Go ahead.
Anyway, my score for the game against the Washington Redskins is going to be 21-13 Cleveland Browns. Week 4, we are going to go against the Dallas Cowboys. This pick is based on Dak being their starting quarterback. If Dak
That's an assumption if I've ever heard one.
Yes, if Dak is their starting quarterback, we lose that game. Not only because of Dak, but just because.
So let's just assume Dak is the starter.
Okay, so Dak.
Because across the board, the only way Dak's not starting is if he blows his Achilles out, in week 3. But he's still. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he hasn't signed with him yet. So if Dak's on the team, just because the team has a little bit more, they're a little bit more formed already with him there. I'm picking Dallas to win that game. We're at Dallas in Jerry's world. We lose that game 21-10. Those receivers give our corners a wake-up call.
Okay.
Week 5, Indianapolis Colts at home. We beat them. We're a better team up and down. That's all there is to it. We're a better team than the Colts.
Even with Phillip Rivers.
Even with Phillip Rivers. So we're going to beat the Colts. My score for that week is going to be 28-24.
Ooh, tight one.
Cleveland Browns. That's going to be a tighter game, but we beat them. Week 18.
18.
Week 6, October 18th. Go to Pittsburgh with Big Ben out there. The Cleveland Browns win that game. We win that game in a tight one, 17-14 Browns. I still don't know if I believe in Baker Mayfield's ability to bring us over the hump. But at this time, I think if he is playing well, I'm eating my words because that's the only way we're keeping these games. We're winning these games. So we beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 27-21.
27-21 W. Okay.
Week 7, October 25th against the Cincinnati Bengals. They're the Cincinnati Bengals. They're still not there yet. Joe Burrow by this time is either hitting his stride or getting completely obliterated by the media. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. The Browns win that game. We win this game in a closer one than the first one, though. We're going to win this game 21-17. November 1st, week 8, we play the Las Vegas Raiders at home. They're the Raiders. We're beating them. There's really not a whole lot to talk about. We beat the Raiders 28-24.
Wow. Okay. So you got the Browns on a 4-game win streak going into the bye.
Going into the bye week, baby.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we go 4-game win streak going into the bye week. Week 10, we come out against the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson and a receiving core that nobody believes in. We lose that game at home. Deshaun Watson reminds our corners that they need to get their act together again. Our linebacking core gets exposed for how terrible they really are unless we do something. We lose to Houston 24-10.
Just smacked is what you're saying.
We get rim rocked by Houston. The following week, we go out and we see Philadelphia at home. Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. We're winning that game. That game we win. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think Nick Chubb's going to do the bulk of the work. So I am going to go Cleveland Browns over Philadelphia Eagles, 17-13.
Okay. You got Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Away at Jacksonville.
Yeah, we're playing at Jacksonville. There's always a game that we should not lose and we lose. And this one just seems like it is it. And the reason why I say that is because the following week we have the Tennessee Titans. And if you don't think that the Cleveland Browns have that game circled on their schedule, then you are completely wrong.
Yep.
So Jacksonville Jaguars, they come out and get us that week. So Jacksonville Jaguars over top of the Browns in week 12. My score is going to be 35-28.
Wow. It's a shootout almost then.
Yeah, that one we're going to
catch up the whole time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, week 13, December 6th is a game where we have that circled against the Tennessee Titans. And I think we win that game. I don't think it's a blowout though. I think we're going to
the dog fight
claw to win that game. So we win that game 17-14. Last 3 points coming in the last quarter.
With the Scottish Hammer subbing in to kick the field goal.
I'm not going that far, but I think it's a close game. What's my record so far? What do I have?
You got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, and 1, 2, 3. You're 8-4 right now with 4 games left.
All right,
so you're home against Baltimore next.
Yep. So here we are. We're 8-4. Playoffs is real. We are a real playoff team at this point. And we are on Monday Night Football against Lamar and the best offense in football. And this is our time to prove to the entire country that we're the real deal and not the same old Browns.
Got that real deal Holyfield.
So this is going to be our turning point in the season, and we lose that game.
What? Like, did not see that. So we lose. So we dropped Baltimore twice.
On Monday, yeah, we're going to lose to Baltimore twice, and we're going to keep it. I don't even think it's going to be close as people are going to want it to be that second game. I just think that Baltimore is that much better than the Browns right now, and Baltimore is hyping up for the playoffs. So we lose that game 35-13.
Wow.
Yeah, lambasted.
Wow. Now that brings you to 8-5.
8-5.
Rolling into the lowly Giants, which OBJ's got circled.
Yep. That's exactly it.
And it's at MetLife Stadium.
Week 15 at the Giants, we smack them. We get all over top of the Giants. I think I got Tony with my build up there. Anyway, so week 15 against the Giants, we go to the Giant Stadium. I believe it's MetLife. Is that correct?
Yeah, MetLife Stadium.
We go to MetLife. We beat them. Final score of that game, because everybody's pissed off and wondering about what this offense is truly capable of. 38-17. We beat the Giants.
How many touchdowns for OBJ? We're going to put a little kicker in here.
OBJ gets 1 touchdown and one. He's going to have 1 touchdown and 200 yards receiving, probably 7 or 8 nabs.
Okay.
The following week we go against the lowly New York Jets. We are big favorites to win this game. So we go in there and we lose.
Yeah.
So we lose this game because at that point we're at 9 wins, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. 8-5 or
9-5. So,
yep.
we go to the Giants and we go to the Jets and we lose that stupid game to Sam Darnold comes out and eats us alive. It's a close game, 38-25. Or not, excuse me, 35-28 is what I meant about that. Which leads us to the ultimate season finale on January 3rd against the Pittsburgh Steelers for not only our 10th win of the season, but for our spot in the playoffs and our seeds. And we at home, for the first time, give Browns fans something to cheer about, and we beat the damn Steelers.
The Squealers go down.
Beat the Steelers. We're
No, that
going
would
to
be
the playoffs.
So just so
10
you
wins.
know, you got Pittsburgh in week 6, us beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So you know, okay. So we beat Pittsburgh twice, we beat Cincy twice, we lose to Baltimore twice.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. We beat Pittsburgh for the playoff position for our 10th win. We're over the hump. Let's go.
What's the score?
The score in that game is going to be.
And hey, remember
30.
it's January 3rd.
That's
at
right.
home in in Cleveland, right off the lake. Putting it out there.
You are right. You're right. So that leads to everything leads to a low scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is Cleveland. Weather does what it wants. It'll probably be 60 degrees. We win that game 31-24.
Wow. How many rushing yards does Nick Chubb have?
Nick Chubb has 95 yards rushing. Baker Mayfield throws for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and Odell Beckham Jr. eats them alive. Ladies and gentlemen, the Browns are in the playoffs.
All right. So Sammy's coming in with a hot 10-6.
10-6.
10-6. Thom, your go.
All right.
And real quick before you go, don't forget to like and share the stream, everybody. Thank you. All right, go, Tom.
All right. Week 1, Baltimore. We're going to go into Baltimore. We're going to get destroyed. It's going to be 21-42. Lamar Jackson is going to throw for 450-something yards on us. Greedy Williams is going to get ate up all game. And J.K. Dobbins is going to come in and introduce himself to the NFL and run for 110 yards.
Holy smokes. So you're saying 560 yards of total offense?
That's
Not
exactly
including
what I'm
special
saying.
teams play?
I
That's
can see
exactly
that,
what I'm saying.
especially with
Get
that linebacking core.
I don't think. When's the
All
last
right.
time a star quarterback put up 450 yards? Good night. I mean,
Quite a
Drew
few times.
Brees. Anyways, go. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Next week, Thursday night, Cincinnati. We come in looking for revenge. Okay. Thursday night football, home opener. Baker Mayfield is steeled. He is ready to go. He's been hearing it all week. Colin Cowherd is riding his jock. It's ready. It's time. We decimate the Bengals 35-6 behind Baker Mayfield throwing for 350 yards. Odell Beckham catching 3 touchdowns in that game. And Nick Chubb just demoralizing that defensive line. The Bengals don't score 1 touchdown. Myles Garrett has 3 sacks in that game. And Joe Burrow just looks lost by the third quarter. Next week, we're staying at home against the Redskins. Dwayne Haskins comes in. I've looked at the other schedules. He looks like he has a bit of swagger in his step. We shut that down real quick, and we destroy the Redskins 42-13. We destroy them. Dwayne Haskins can't get a rhythm going. Larry Ogunjobi and Sheldon Richardson just disrupt that team, that offensive line all game. And Darius Geis can't get anything going. Nick Chubb runs rampant, and by the middle of the third quarter, Kareem Hunt comes in full time. The next week, we go to Jerry's World and we lose 28-35. It really becomes a problem for this linebacking core because Ezekiel Elliott rushes for about 140 yards against us, and it is shameful, and we are humiliated. We parlay that into next week against the Colts at home, and we
Parlay.
lose 14-17. We lose. Phillip Rivers plays his best game of the season up to that point and for the rest of the year. Phillip Rivers goes near perfect in that game. We lose 14-17 in that game.
First game against Pittsburgh.
First game against Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, we lose 14-21. We lose. Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have a great game, but the game is won with the running game, and the lack of depth shows on our defense because we can't adapt to what's going on. We lose 14-21.
All right, back at Cincy down at Paul Brown Stadium.
Paul Brown Stadium, you see Baker Mayfield start to react to a 2-4 start, and you see a whole new Baker. And Baker puts up a repeat performance. We shut the Bengals out 35-0. Joe Burrow, by this point in the season, looks horrendous. And there's whispers about Burrow not being the guy. Myles Garrett feasts all game. He just feasts. That defense of line doesn't let Burrow do anything. 0-35, we mollywop them.
Viva Las Vegas.
We come home against the Raiders, and we absolutely destroy them 14-42. This is when our offense, you see the past 2 weeks, the offense begins to click and become what, analysts and stuff say that they expect from the Browns. You're going to start seeing Odell click. You're going to start seeing Jarvis click. You're going to start seeing Hooper just
Hollywood.
And Hollywood is going to play a big part in this. We destroy them 14-42. It's not the only time it's close is at the beginning of the game when Baker throws an interception and the Raiders capitalize.
All right, now we head over to Houston.
Yes, so going into the bye week.
I'm sorry, Houston's at home. I'm sorry, Houston is in Cleveland.
Yes, so going into the bye week, I have us at 4-4. All right, Houston, we lose 24-31. We get exposed. We get exposed in Houston, and people start to wonder if those past couple weeks were a fluke, if we really are a high-flying offense, and they start to – there's whispers again because it's Cleveland. Is Baker really the guy? Should we start putting in Keenum because we're not tearing up the league like everyone thinks we should? The next week against Philly, Philly comes to town. We win 21-7. We shut Carson Wentz down. I can honestly see either Carson Wentz not playing due to injury or getting injured in this game. He's played pretty much every snap up to this point. Historically, he's due for it. And that's unfortunate. I'm not making a joke about it. It's just what it is. And they can't react. We adapt, and we beat them. We hold them to 1 touchdown.
All right, so down at Raymond James Stadium in Jacksonville.
That's another shutout. We beat the Jaguars 28-0. We destroy them. Jacksonville has no business being on the same field as the Cleveland Browns. Their defense is depleted. They don't have a quarterback, and Leonard Fournette will either be totally stuffed up and not be able to do anything, or he's going to pout like a baby and not play up to potential. The next week, we go to Tennessee. We lose 14-21. Derrick Henry runs rampant on us. Ryan Tannehill plays average. Baker and Tannehill pretty much go throw for throw, touchdown for touchdown in that game. Week 14, Monday night versus the Ravens. This is it. This is it right here. We beat the Ravens at home on Monday night, 38-35. Odell has 170 plus receiving yards in that game. Odell Beckham destroys that secondary. Jarvis Landry has about 85 receiving yards, and Chubb runs for about 110. And we beat them on the last play of the game on a Odell Hail Mary that Odell brings back the memory of when he was in New York with the one-handed grab. That's exactly what happens. Mark it, book it down. I would put money on that. That is the storybook moment for the Browns season, because that then segues into week 15 at New York. We win 28-10. Odell has all of our touchdowns. He scores 4 touchdowns in that game, showing the Giants, this is what you gave up. This is who I am. I have a better quarterback now. I'm coming for you. And guess what? You're in my rear view, and I'm here to humiliate you. Next week against the Jets, week 16, we're there. We beat the Jets 10-17. And Le'Veon Bell is the only option they have that whole game, because Sam Darnold either doesn't play or Sam Darnold is so discouraged that he can't do anything, because this defensive line has really come together by this point. And
real quick, Tom, before I forget, OBJ against New York, how many receiving yards does he have, and how many touchdowns?
I said he has 4. I said he has four touchdowns against the Giants. He has.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And he said he got 170 plus.
That's against the Ravens. He goes for 170 plus. Against the Giants, he goes for about 130 and 4 touchdowns against the Giants. That's what he does. Against the Jets, we're probably gonna feature more of a run game in that. I'm gonna say Chubb and Hunt carry the load in that game because it's a little bit lower scoring. And we win 10-17. And the final game of the season at home, January 3rd, it's gonna be bitter cold. It's gonna be a grinded out game. We beat the Steelers 14-17, and it's a grinded out game the entire time, punctuated by Odell Beckham breaking loose and catching a pass and just juking everyone out of their socks and running it into the end zone. Fireworks light up in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield puts his arms out like an airplane and starts running around. Jarvis jumps up and down. Miles throws his helmet down this time instead of a Steelers helmet. And everyone in the crowd erupts. Storybook moments happen. 9 months later, I have a new child, and the Browns are in the playoffs. We're at 10-6.
And how many yards does Baker Mayfield? How many yards and passing yards does he have, and how many touchdowns
against the Steelers?
Yep.
He has 260 pass yards with 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
I wish my wife loved me as much as you love Odell Beckham Jr.
All right, so mine. I'm gonna kind of run through mine. Let me write these down.
I love you, baby. I love you. I love you.
13, 16, 17. Okay, I'm gonna run through mine rather quick.
Boy or girl?
Right.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a boy. I'm a betting man.
All right, so my little to do here. Week 1 at Baltimore, September 13th. They pull out the W. Simply, my number one reason is going to be is
are you writing down your own games, or do I need to write?
Yeah, I know. I'm writing it down. Don't worry. You just relax over there, okay?
Take it easy.
Hey, so Ryan, you're a giver, bro. I love that.
I'm a giver, and it's simply because Lamar Jackson doesn't have time to get together and unite with his team because of the COVID virus, and the Browns take advantage of it because they're the Browns. And my birthday is 2 days after that.
If Ryan has us going 16-0, I'm done with this show.
No, not 16-0. So,
Sammy, if he goes 16-0, we start a new show. Practicality with Tom and Sam.
So, and then the Browns win that by a close margin of 17-10. Real close. It's a dogfight the whole way, but they do pull it off. We then Cincinnati brings their talents over here to Cleveland at First Energy Stadium, and we beat the brakes off of them. All right. So we're going to beat them, I would say, 28-0, somewhere in that ballpark area. Our first loss is going to come at Washington because we're going to have a big head. Real big head going into Washington. We beat Baltimore. We knew we were going to beat Cincy. Now we're going to walk into Washington, who's supposed to be, not that great of a team, but Haskins, is it Haskins, their quarterback? Am I saying that right?
Yes, sir. Ohio State's.
Haskins starts to pull through, lights it up a little bit. It's not a huge loss, but we're going to lose. I'm going to go 14-9. We're going to get a field goal blocked, and then we're going to kick a field goal and not be enough at the L. All right, then we're taking our talents to down to Jerry's world, where we take our second loss. Dak Prescott will be playing. Zeke is going to be a monster. Our linebacking core is not going to be able to handle it to fill the gaps that are needed, so we're going to take it there, and it's going to be a rather a bigger loss. I'm going to say Dallas puts 28 up on us, and we get 17.
Okay.
All right, versus the Colts. So Indy coming to Cleveland. I'm going to put another W on the board for us. Phillip Rivers doesn't mesh with everything that's going on there. He's on his last leg. It just doesn't work out that well. Maybe even, I don't know. Is Brissett still there?
He's there. He's there physically, but not in spirit.
Okay. So we take a win there. We beat Indy. I'm going to go 21-17. It will be a close game, but we're going to take that win. Headed out to Pittsburgh. We are going to take our third loss of the year.
Okay.
And at Pittsburgh, we're going to take that L. It will still be a dogfight, but Ben Roethlisberger is going to be Ben Roethlisberger. As much as I hate him, he's going to find a way to pull through and beat us 21-17.
Listen, man, I agree with you. Hobbits always find a way to succeed, and Roethlisberger looks like a hobbit now, man. If Frodo taught us anything, a hobbit's going to find a way to succeed.
Yep. Then we head down to Paul Brown Stadium with Cincy, and we beat we get a little NFC North revenge, I guess, beating up on the little brother down at Cincy right now. We're going to beat them. It's not going to be as bad as the second week win, or a big of a win, but it's going to be, I'm going to say 21. No, I keep saying 21. That's a habit, isn't it?
21.
This is
21-21. I'm going to still say 21, but it's going to be 21-9, and we're going to beat Cincy.
Why you got a 6-car garage when you only got 2 cars?
Right. All right. The week 8, the LV Raiders, which is so weird to say. They let's see, they're home against us. 3. Right now we're 4. Yeah, we're gonna go into there. Yep. So we're gonna go. The Raiders are gonna come to Cleveland, and we're gonna take an L there.
So 4-4, even going into the break.
Yep, even going into the break. And I'll give, I mean, I don't know, the numbers don't mean that much to me. It's really about the win and loss. But I'll throw, the Raiders are going to come in, and Derek Carr is their quarterback, right? I don't want to feel like a total idiot.
Correct. Derek Carr is their quarterback for now.
Derek Carr, because I honestly think with John Gruden, Derek Carr, and what they have they're building there, I really think they're the dark horse of the team. Of the league that no one's talking about right now.
Okay.
But they're going to come in. They're not going to smack us, but it's going to be like a 17-9 game. We're going to lose because somehow we're going to have extra points blocked like crazy this year for some reason. So going into the bye week, we are 4-4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, coming out, we have a little revenge against Houston because they are home against us. Deshaun Watson does have a great game, but it's not enough to push him because he doesn't. I don't think that wide receiving core is going to be the greatest. I'm starting to kind of co-sign with what we talked about before. I thought they'd be all right, but I don't think they're going to be the greatest. But they're going to go. Cleveland's going to put up, I'm going to say, 24 points, and Houston, we're going to say 17 and a win. Okay. Philly comes in. Let's see, Philly. Yeah, so Philly comes in. We're going to take a let me look at this real quick. Sorry. Philly comes in. We're going to beat Philly. And we're going to beat Philly by a slim margin. It's November. Weather's turning cold. It's going to be a running type game. Running and dink and dunk past Kareem Hunt or Chubb, and then a lot of tight end play at this point in time. And it's going to be a 10-3 win against Philly. Okay. Then we go down to Florida, to Jacksonville. And once we get down there, that's when we got our big head, and we don't think Gardner Minshew is much of anything. And they catch us off guard. We're going to take an L there. All right. So, and it's going to be Minshew lights it up on us because our D-backs, like you guys have been saying, they're greedy. They're creeping up a little bit too much. So our D-backs get into there, and we're going to go 24-10 loss to Jacksonville. All right, then we go down to Tennessee, and I'm going to co-sign with Sammy on this one because that is circled on that playbook, that are on the schedule right there. Tennessee, we got smacked week 1 last year, and it's a revenge game where we pull out a W, and that's going to be a 28-7 spanking on Tennessee. All right, and then this is when we get into kind of the grunt of it, and that is we go Baltimore comes to our house on a Monday night game, and we lose to them because it's an important game. It means quite a bit. We take an L, and then with it being that time of year, it's December 14th, there's going to be snow on the ground. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Say 14-7. Where am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
You got
And
7-6 right now.
Yep, 7-6. Then we head, we go to New York, and just like we've talked about, OBJ lights it up, just beats the brakes off everybody. It's going to be, I'm going to say a 28 to, we'll go 14, and OBJ just puts it on them. Then the Jets, we go and beat the Jets. And that one's in New York again because it's going to be 2 weeks in a row in New York, right after Christmas Day, 26. Why does that say 26/27th? Is it up in the air? I take it for that game. You guys see that week 16? Sorry.
Yeah, maybe it must be. It must be dependent upon. It says to be determined, so maybe they're possibly the Monday night game.
Right, maybe it just depends on that flex schedule that they started running. So we go there and we beat the Jets. Another, let's say 24-13. And then where am I at now? 1, 2, 3.
26.
Well, the 26th is a Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a flex
1,
day.
2, 3, 4,
It's
5,
whoever
6.
gets the Saturday game doesn't play Sunday, obviously.
Correct.
That's all.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Man, we're all going to end up with the same thing, just completely different.
At 9-6 right now. So are they
Yeah.
beating the Steelers for that 10th win, or do we piss and moan for another season?
Well, no matter what, we're going to piss.
It's in Cleveland. That's where the advantage is going to be. Cleveland's going to be a raucous crowd because we know what's on the line. It's going to be right there. We're going to taste it on our fingertips for the first time in whatever, a long time. We beat Pittsburgh to put us at 10. God, I didn't want to end up at 10-6, but that's what's happening.
Listen, I didn't want to end up at 10-6 either. I said that they were going to go 7-9.
Right. So we end up 10-6, beating Pittsburgh. Ultra low scoring game. It's a dogfight. I don't even know if Ben Roethlisberger is going to be playing, but it's still the end of the year. It's going to be a wicked snowstorm blowing in off the lake. People are going to be shoveling off the seats out. There's going to be people shoveling the yard markers out, and it's going to be. I'm going to give the Browns 10 points, and the Browns 10 points, and then. Let's see. We'll go with Pittsburgh with 7 because if Roethlisberger plays, he still throws a touchdown. But it's going to be run heavy. And I got in that game OBJ. Let me go back up to week 15 real quick. OBJ is going to go for $180 in 3 of the 4 touchdowns Cleveland scores will be on his numbers. And then the last game of the season, Baker Mayfield. It would seem like a dud, but the whole time they're going to be running, he's only going to throw for 150 yards, 1 touchdown reception, and no picks because it's going to be a run-heavy game.
So I
10-6 across the board.
Tom's got 10-6. Ryan's got 10-6. Gentlemen, we called the play. That's a playoff record. Unless, of course, what was it? 2007. 2007, when we go 10-6 and missed the freaking playoffs.
Right.
To a team that we beat. The Bills got in and we didn't.
Got it all wrote down right here too, just so everyone sees.
Let's assume that the football gods are done crapping on Cleveland for once.
No longer the mistake by the lake. Yep.
go 10-6, and that 10-6 gets us into the playoffs. Are we going in as? I don't think any of us have us winning the division, right?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
Yeah,
none of us.
it's going to be a wild card berth, is what it's going to be.
We go in as the wild card. How much playoff time do you think we get? I think we are a first round knock. I think we get knocked out on the first round.
I think we win in the wild card, and I think we win by the skin of our behinds. It's going to be against a team like
Man,
like the Chargers, because I think the Chargers are a playoff team. I think I think we lose to like the Chargers, and then we just get mollywopped by the Chiefs. Like literally, we lose 52-14, and Baker Mayfield.
Is that this year, Billman? I don't think that's implemented. Is that this year?
This year.
Yes,
Is it? I thought it was next year. Yeah, so that does. Yeah, so that puts 14 out of the 32 teams in the playoffs this year in some way, shape, or form. Okay.
Here's my fear. We go to the playoffs for the first time in ever, and we get to play a team that beats us, that already beat us, like Houston. So, where we meet Houston, or we meet another team, I can definitely see us. We could meet Tennessee again. You know what I mean? So it's something like that. I'd love to, in the words of 92.3 The Fan, Super Bowl! Super
Browns.
Yeah.
I think we'll know that answer. I think we'll know that answer by week 8.
Yet. But you know what? If we make the playoffs, man, I'm going to have to get Gatorade and Pedialyte in this house because it's going to be a tough day.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, extra play. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I would say definitely wild card this year. If they don't, I mean, I don't even know what you do. Like, you can't even, like, give the excuse and, blow the team up. There's no excuse. Like we talked about on previous shows, the Browns are here. They're here to win. That's what their goal. I know every team's goal is to win, but what they've built, and I really genuinely think having Kevin Stefanski in there, it's going to change everything. You're going to see a lot more running from Chubb and Kareem Hunt. You're going to see them. The ground and pound game is going to be lighting it up, but then it's going to leave huge openings for Jarvis, for OBJ, and like Thom said, Rashard Higgins is going to be – he's going to be like the sixth man in the NBA. He's going to be that guy that just pops in, forgot about him, and just lights it up during certain games. He's going to be that MVP sixth man that just makes it happen when it needs to happen.
Absolutely.
Best case, worst case scenario this year with 10-6. Best case scenario, Baker Mayfield plays average to above average. We get into the playoffs on the backs of our talent. He gets into the playoffs, plays a decent game, but we get outplayed, or we get outclassed. We lose to a team that's clearly better. We lose to a team that's clearly better. Worst case scenario, we go 10-6. We win these games in spite of Baker Mayfield. He goes out there in that first playoff game trying to act like he's John Wayne and pulls oh God, what's his name? The Raiders guy. You love him, Tom.
Gannon?
Yeah, and pulls a Rich Gannon and forgets what team to throw to. And then we get the reason why this is the worst case. That's the worst case scenario is because then we have a team that made the playoffs with a quarterback that's terrible, and now you have to make a decision: do we get rid of him and bring in a new guy, or do we still try and get this guy together? That's worst case scenario.
Well, the simple fact is Baker he's got till week 6. Regardless of wins or losses, he's got to have numbers on the board that prove that he's a good quarterback. If not, Case Keenum is stepping in. Baker's out.
It's gonna be all about wins, W's, and losses, baby. If we go into week 6 and we've got 3 or more wins, I don't care if he's leading the league in interceptions and fumbles. Nothing is going to change. They're going to try and rumble on the back of Nick Chubb. They're going to have to. They're going to try and pull a Baltimore and win in spite of their quarterback.
Yep.
I'm talking
right.
about Baltimore who won the Super Bowl.
I guess let me say it this way: if Baker Mayfield does everything right and they still lose, so meaning the defense is the biggest weakness of Cleveland.
That's best case scenario.
Right. Yeah. So best case scenario for Baker, the defense is the weakest link of Cleveland. But let's say they're losing, they go for some reason, 1-5 into week 6, but every game Baker's, he's thrown 2-3 touchdowns a game. He's got, we'll say 14 touchdowns and 2 picks. You can't pull Baker because the defense can't, keep an offense under 20 points a game. Just what it is.
But then guess who starts to catch flack? Andrew Berry for building in defense.
I don't know. He'll catch flack no matter which way you put it. I mean, if they're not 4-4 at a minimum going into the bye week, then you're going to see a lot of flack. But they brought Berry in. He's young. They brought Kevin Stefanski in. He's young. They're building with these guys. Yeah, but that was who else was young in ownership?
In the 30s. So Sashi Brown was under 40. So
I got my whole conspiracy theory on Sashi. Let's not even go there.
Listen, everybody gets caught up on youth. Youth has nothing to do with anything in here. The Browns, it's make or break time. This is not a build-up team. Mm-hmm. This is, I built a supercar. You better know how to drive stick shift.
Absolutely.
I think they have every opportunity. I guess Stefanski, everyone in the NFL does not assume the Browns are playoff contenders in any way, shape, or form right now. So you have that aura that they're just going to be a mediocre team. And I think what's going to happen this year, they're going to kind of blow the doors off some of these teams. And, it's going to be kind of like Lamar coming in last year and blowing doors off teams week to week. In week to week, they don't know what's going to happen. So
correct.
But time is 10:07. Didn't even realize it.
A little bit long, but that's the way she goes, boys.
Yeah, that's the way she goes, boy. Way of the road.
We don't own space. NASA does.
NASA does. Sometimes
NASA does. Oh,
listen,
wrong button.
Guys, I don't want to admit that I ate 9 cans of ravioli during the show, but I did, and I'm ashamed of myself. Okay. So, great show tonight. Don't forget, everybody, we're on YouTube now. 440 and goal. We're going to be sending this information over tonight, either late tonight.
Our link, so you should be able to you should be able to see the link. Yep. For our YouTube page. Please start subscribing over there. Even if you don't watch YouTube a whole lot, subscriptions make a lot of difference. So you guys have been great with your support up till now. Let's continue it because this is a whole lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with you guys.
Up till now. So he said you guys kind of suck right now. So no, but yeah, thank you guys so much for being part of the show. It's been a blast. Tonight's show was great. I had a great time with it. But this is Ryan Cole. I'm out.
Sam Torres, 10-6. Let's go, Browns.
You know that's right.
Tom Roth, I'm out of here. 440 and goal, baby. 10-6.
Yeah. 440
and goal.
See you guys on Saturday.
Right.
UFC heavy show, guys. Pay attention. We're talking about
to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
This is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 440 and goal. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4-0 and go. Come hit it, clench your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4-0 and go. Come hit it, clench your soul.
Are the Browns Super Bowl contenders?
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.